Hello and welcome back to GED Live App Pals. In today's brief video, I'm going to be going over a complete section, passage, and questions of the SAT writing test. First, I'll read the passage fully, and then we'll go through each question discussing the correct answers, giving you time to pause and attempt to answer on your own first, and then we will also discuss some of the skills that are being tested. Let's get right to it. Greek yogurt business have found many methods of controlling and eliminating most environmental threats. Given these solutions as well as many health benefits of the food, the advantages of Greek yogurt outdo the potential drawbacks of its production. The main environmental problem caused by the production of Greek yogurt is the creation of acid whey as a byproduct. Because it requires up to 4 times more milk to make than conventional yogurt does, Greek yogurt produces larger amounts of acid whey, which is difficult to dispose of. To address the problem of disposal, farmers have found a number of uses for acid whey. They can add it to livestock feed as a protein supplement, and people can make their own Greek-style yogurt at home by straining regular yogurt. If it is improperly introduced into the environment, acid whey runoff can pollute waterways, depleting the oxygen content of streams and rivers as it decomposes. Yogurt manufacturers, scientists, and government officials are also working together to develop additional solutions for reusing whey. Though these conservation methods can be costly and time-consuming, they are well worth the effort. Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food. It is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves to be a digestive aid, and it contains few calories in its unsweetened, low, and non-fat forms. Greek yogurt is slightly lower in sugar and carbohydrates than conventional yogurt is. Also, because it is more concentrated, Greek yogurt contains slightly more protein per serving, thereby helping people stay done. So, if I were taking the SAT writing test, I would really quickly read through this passage for understanding. I would practice beforehand at reading and comprehending at a near skimming pace. Keeping in mind we don't even have a minute per question, it's ideal to move as quickly as possible. So let's begin without rush. So number 1, we look over at the question. It says, no change, defeat, outperform, and outweigh. So here we have a words in context question. We need to decide which term conveys the best meaning and fits in the most proper manner. So we can go back to the middle of the sentence. Given these solutions as well as the many health benefits of the food, the average advantages of Greek yogurt outdo the potential drawbacks of its production. What are we actually talking about when we talk about outdo? Advantages and drawbacks. So we can just briefly use each of those terms between advantages and drawbacks. So advantages defeat drawbacks. Defeat would require much more active use of advantages and drawbacks. These are more passive terms. Advantages outperform drawbacks. Again, these terms, advantages and drawbacks, are not quite active enough for that to make sense. And advantages outweigh drawbacks. This makes sense. So D, outweigh, would be the correct answer for number 1. Looking at number 2, the question is asking us which choice provides the most relevant detail. And so we have no change, supplement and convert it to gas to use as fuel in electricity production, supplement, while sweet whey is more desirable as a food additive for humans, or supplement, which provides an important element of their diet. And now here we need to find out which is the best expression of ideas. And so before number 2, we have a sentence that says, to address the problem of disposal, farmers have found a number of uses for acid whey. They can add it to livestock as livestock feed as a protein. Okay, so now we have an alternative use for this whey. Underline number 2 says supplement, and people can make their own Greek-style yogurt at home by straining regular yogurt. This is unrelated, and this does not fit, obviously, so which one of these is more related? So we have an alternative use. Let's look up at B, C, and D quickly to see which one's an alternative use. Converted to gas as fuel in electricity production. That is an alternative use. While sweet whey is more desirable, this is an inappropriate context, which provides an important element of their diet. This is unsupported by the previous sentences, so B is correct. Moving on to number 3, we have a standard English conventions question where we have to determine which one of these is grammatically correct. And so we can read the sentence from the beginning. If it is improperly introduced into the environment, acid whey runoff can pollute waterways, depleting blah blah blah. We don't need to know the rest, we just need to know which one is grammatically correct. Number 3 says no change can pollute waterways with an apostrophe S, possessive. Could have polluted waterways, different form of the verb, and has polluted waterways, different form of the verb, and an apostrophe S, so possessive. So we look back, it doesn't need a possessive, we have waterways as a plural. Now we need to decide what's better. Can pollute, could have polluted, or has polluted. Acid whey runoff can pollute waterways is the best meaning and the most grammatically correct, so no change, A, for number 3. Again, as we go on to each question, you can pause and look at the answers beforehand to see if you get it right. 4, again, we have a punctuation question, so we're going to be looking at standard English conventions. So looking at the beginning of the sentence, yogurt manufacturers, food scientists, and government officials are also working together, blah, 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 blah. What we have is a simple list. A list is not going to use a semicolon unless the next part of the list is going to give us more detail or elaborate. So we just look over and see, what do we need? We need an Oxford comma. It's the last in the list. A, no change. No, that semicolon doesn't make sense. B, colon, we don't want that. C is correct. We have a simple comma. And D just wouldn't make sense because we don't need that additional comma at the end. C is the best answer for number 4. Looking at number 5, the question asks us, to make this paragraph most logical, sentence 5 should be placed where? And so sentence 5, I'm going to go and look at it. And we need to look at 1, 2, and 3. So let's have a look. 1. The main environmental problem caused by the production of Greek yogurt is the creation of acid whey as a byproduct. Okay, so are we going to move that sentence up there? Working together to develop additional solutions for reusing whey. This is not related. We want to make sure we find something that fits into the structure and changes it. This is a bit more challenging. This is a question where you are the editor. Sentence 2, so we look up sentence 2, because it requires up to 4 times more milk to make. Working together to develop additional solutions. Those are unrelated. Oh no, that's perfect. That's great. So we're going to put that one in after number 2. Because it requires up to 4 times more milk to make than conventional yogurt does, Greek yogurt faces large amounts of acid whey, which is difficult to dispose of. Yogurt manufacturers, food scientists, and government officials are also working together to develop additional solutions for reusing the whey. Perfect. Looking at number 6 now. Says the writer is considering deleting the underlined sentence. Should the writer do this? Okay, so we need to know, does this sentence add anything to the meaning? Do we need it? Can we get rid of it? So Though these conservation methods can be costly and time-consuming, they are well worth the effort. A says yes because it does not provide a transition from the previous paragraph. Let's read all of them. Yes, because it fails to support the main argument of the passage as introduced in the first paragraph. No, because it contains the explanation of how the acid weight can be disposed of. Or no, because it sets up the argument for the paragraph, the benefits of Greek yogurt. And so, though these conservation methods can be costly and time-consuming, they are worth it. This is establishing an argument, right? It's telling us, hey, it's challenging and it costs money, but it's worth it. So D is the correct answer for number 6. Number 7, again, we must find the correct term to replace to be. So we just read the sentence, and if you're a native speaker, it should pop out at you. If you're not a native speaker, or you haven't been doing so well with your grammar studies, then you're going to have to understand the rules. It's quite a long sentence. I'm not going to start from the beginning. We say calcium and protein serves to be a digestive aid. Serves as a digestive aid. Serves like a digestive aid. Serves for a digestive aid. The only one that makes sense is serves as. We do not say, this is a small idiom. We do not use serve like or serves for. Serves as the only form that works. Looking at 8, it's in the same sentence. Again, we're going to choose the best term, words in context. Containing, contains, will contain. Oh, this is a grammar question. No change. So look at number 8. To be as a digestive aid, and it contains few calories. Or it is and containing few calories, or and contains few calories, or D, and will contain few calories. We can look back at the other verb forms to find out which is the most appropriate. We don't see in the structure any usage of this continuous containing. And it's definitely not in the future tense because it says nutritionists consider. So this is just a simple present tense, and since it contains doesn't work because we don't need a restatement of it, contains is the correct answer. So for number 8, C is the best choice. Number 9, we're just going to choose our correct term again. And so we need to read the sentence before a bit so we can understand the correct connective. Greek yogurt is slightly lower in sugar and carbohydrates than conventional yogurt is. Also, because it is more concentrated, Greek yogurt contains slightly more protein per serving. So no change would be also being correct. We can try the other connectives to see if they work. In other words, because it is more concentrated. In other words would show contrast, but this is supporting the previous meaning, so that doesn't make sense. Therefore, this would be showing cause and effect, but we don't have cause and effect. We have a simple list function of 2 different benefits. For instance, would show an example and elaboration. That doesn't work either. So also is the best. No change is the correct answer. Very similar question here, and this is going to be words in context. Go back and read. Helping people stay satiated for longer periods of time. Helping people feel fulfilled for longer periods of time. Helping people feel complacent for longer periods of time. Or helping people feel sufficient for longer periods of time. Which one of these terms would we use for a feeling of being full? That's what they're saying. The yogurt is making us feel full. And so, though fulfilled seems to be containing the same root, fulfilled has a very different meaning. This is not going to work. This is going to imply some sort of emotional fulfillment, right? Complacent, this would be An incorrect meaning, again, this would mean that you are unwilling to act. Sufficient, it would be a feeling of sufficiency, but it's incorrect in the sentence structure. So no change would be the best answer because we are satiated. It is a feeling of being full. The final question on this section, we have, again, standard English conventions. Which punctuation is correct for the situation? Going back to the beginning of a sentence, because consumers reap the nutritional benefits of Greek yogurt and support those who make and sell it, therefore farmers and businesses should continue, blah, blah, blah. So already this jumps right out to you if you're a native speaker, because we have because and therefore, and these are really functioning the same way, and one of them cannot work. Because isn't underlined, so we're not changing that. So what we need to do is find out, no change obviously isn't going to work, which of these three is make and sell it, farmers and businesses should continue finding ways. This makes pretty good. Continue finding safe and effective methods. This sounds pretty good. We just have a separation of the clauses. Continue to sell and to sell it. So farmers and businesses should. So would imply that there's a effect, different meaning. So farmers, blah, blah, blah. There is not a cause and effect relationship here. And sell it, colon, farmers. This is definitely not a correct use of a colon. So B would be the correct answer. It, comma, farmers. Okay, that's it for today's video. We'll continue to bring some more passages and complete section reviews of the SAT writing section. Thanks for watching and best of luck in your test prep.